AlanCoxShow.com. Guardians are playing tonight. They lost a late one yesterday afternoon. Tonight is the second of three that they will play in Kansas City against the Royals. 7:40 tonight is your first pitch. So a little after 7 o'clock is when that pregame will get going. And there's only about a week and a half left in the 2023 Guardians season. They got 10 games left after tonight. So 7:40 tonight, 2:10 tomorrow. And they'll come back home to host the Baltimore Orioles. That's a 4-game series. They'll play 2 against Cincinnati, and they'll finish the season with 3 in Detroit against the Tigers. So all of it. And then we'll start talking about Cavaliers. We'll start talking about where we're going to be, I think, for Cavs opening day.
Ooh.
And it should be fun. That'll be a sausage party show somewhere on location. If you listen to us on iHeartRadio, tell me where you do that if you're able to do it. Always thank you for your efforts. If you listen from out of state, tell me where. Brandon is in Jersey City, New Jersey. Laura is in Albuquerque. Chelsea is a brand new Canadian listener. She's up in Peterborough, Ontario, north of Toronto. Derek is in Houston, Mississippi. And who knows how all of those places will fare as the climate gets weirder and more intense. National Geographic magazine did the cities that will be able to, they refer to them as climate change havens. These are the cities that are going to deal with the intensities of climate change the best. And congratulations to you, Cleveland, Ohio, because you are one of the top cities. Whatever metrics they use, I think that they determined that the very best city in the United States to avoid that kind of stuff is Duluth, Minnesota. It's from my ex-sister-in-law is from Duluth. Duluth, Minnesota.
Duluth?
How, though? Like,
just
why?
because of where it's positioned, I guess, and I don't know.
It's got a huge lake.
Yeah.
So you got the fresh water
Freshwater lake, yeah.
And then it's further north, so it's gonna get hotter and hotter the further south you go. So it's gonna be more temperate.
About that.
And everybody's so nice in Minnesota.
You
so
know,
even if there's like a road warrior situation, they'll rape and pillage, but with a smile.
No plundering.
but also it's never going to get too hot up there because they keep such a cool head. So Ann Arbor, Michigan, Duluth, Buffalo, the aforementioned, Madison, Wisconsin, Cleveland, Ohio. These are the cities. Through extensive research, obviously the one thing they all share is they're all Great Lakes states. So we will be on the front lines of the water wars, of course, but, it's Ohio and Michigan. Everyone's armed. But congratulations to you, Cleveland, Ohio, for another fine showing on that climate stuff. I was reading about how Oppenheimer, which I still haven't seen, and it's really bumming me out because I'm not going to be able to watch it on television. There's no way that I'm going to be able to watch Oppenheimer streaming.
Why not?
I've got to get Oppenheimer.
Dude,
I know you
it's
said
all close-ups.
I know you said it
don't
didn't
need.
I know.
It's all close-ups.
You said it doesn't have to be in IMAX for what they do,
Right.
but there's a bit. It also can't be on the television.
You got a good television.
I have a 27-inch.
Why do you have such a small TV?
It's black and white, Bill.
It's his first TV ever.
It's got a radio in it. I got to put the antenna up.
Okay,
on
better
it.
TV.
It's portable, Mary.
Oh, sorry.
That's why.
Yeah, right. Those 27-inch TVs back in the day were hardly
So
portable.
heavy. 150 pounds.
I had my very first apartment where I was just sleeping on an air mattress. I had a 15-inch black and white television that had a radio in it, and it had a handle on the top. And I could obviously just get local channels. We could pop the antenna up, and that was the TV that I had, and it was just on the floor. And I'd sit there watching Leno and Letterman on my 15-inch black and white television. But, no, Oppenheimer is now Gesundheit. It's all right.
My goodness.
Gesundheit.
Hey.
Oppenheimer is now the biggest biopic of all time. It surpassed Bohemian Rhapsody, which was that fictionalized version of Queen, Freddie Mercury and Queen, that held the box office record. And now it's Oppenheimer. It's been a big, big year for both Barbie and Oppenheimer. And at the time, they were really not worried, but Cillian Murphy was really feeling the pressure of carrying this film for Christopher Nolan. He really wanted to be the lead in the film. Christopher Nolan wanted him to do it. There was a lot of pressure there. You hear these stories on the set about how Cillian Murphy really kept to himself. He wasn't doing a method thing, but he was really, really keeping to himself. He didn't want to fraternize too much with the rest of the cast because he didn't want to get himself too far away from where his headspace needed to be when he was on camera. It has grossed $912 million, breaking all kinds of box office records. Now, that means it's even bigger than Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I thought that was the biggest biopic.
Wow. That's not actually a biopic.
I'm sorry?
That's not actually a biopic, Alan.
It's about Pee-wee Herman.
Yes, but Pee-wee Herman was a fictional character.
Well, Pee-wee Herman was, but his full name was Peter Weenus Herman. And it was about him. It was about that guy and how he created the character of Pee-wee Herman. So Oppenheimer has overtaken not only the Freddie Mercury movie, which I like to call. Have you ever seen Bohemian Rhapsody?
Yeah.
I call that movie, look at them funny teeth.
So she's got
Grandma
a lot of them.
loves that movie. That's her favorite movie.
Well, because she's British.
Well, she didn't know anything about Queen, and then she went and saw that movie, and she loved it. And
did she think it was going to be about the Queen?
No, I mean, she knew like the general idea of it, but she loved Freddie Mercury, and she became a huge Queen fan, all because of that movie, in her 70s.
In her 70s, yeah. Well, yeah, that was the big one. And now it's Oppenheimer. I just can't see watching Oppenheimer on a television.
I'm telling you, it'll be fine.
Really?
Yeah. It honestly might be better.
But isn't it? I mean, I've got pretty good sound and everything, but isn't it just as much for the sound as everything else, or no? Is it your traditional Chris Nolan? Everything's mixed weird.
I thought it was mixed weird. There's other people that said it was fine. There was definitely scenes where it was real mumbly and it wasn't, and the music was too loud and bassy to drown out the dialogue and stuff. And that would just be, I have bad hearing. But you'll be fine watching it at home.
Okay.
It's a lot of medium and close-up shots of people talking. It's not these big landscape shots. It's not like you'll be just fine. There's a few of those, but if you can watch Yellowstone, you can watch Oppenheimer.
Yeah, since the networks have no programming to show for the fall slate because of the strike, they just started airing Yellowstone, which they've been streaming on Paramount Plus for a while, and now it might be on Peacock or something like that. But CBS just started airing Yellowstone from the beginning. They're 7 seasons deep on this thing, I think. And they started with season 1, episode 1. And it got like 15 million people or something watch this. And I don't know if that's a combination of people who are like, oh, I've heard a lot about this show, or if there's just that many 65-year-olds watching
go back
television.
and watch it again, yeah.
Yeah, maybe. But it's like, Johnny Carson 1987 numbers on this stupid thing. My younger daughter this morning informed me that it's Talk Like a Pirate Day.
Oh,
September 19th. Right. R.
Well,
the letter that Poundcake left out.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did he say? Claustrophobic. Claustrophobic, right.
He'll be coming face to face with old Flint himself, he will, and be made to give proper accounting for his evil ways. Amen. You have 2 longboats drawn up on the beach within the hour, and I'll deliver them.
The Lord hath provided for one of his flock.
Amen.
They're not really sure where that ever came from. That was the movie Treasure Island from the 50s, and that was basically the way that actor played Long John Silver, who, of course, would go on to start a whole franchise of fish restaurants after that movie. The movie was so successful, it was the Oppenheimer of its day. the 1950 version of Treasure Island. But they said that the whole myth around the talking like that and all that stuff,
What's his
there's
fault?
not much to it. I'm sorry?
It's all his fault?
It's all his fault, yeah. I mean,
He started it?
Disney movies and the yo-ho-ho and the bottle of rum and all that. Of course, our own Cody Brown, some time ago, regaled us with tales of being concerned about Canadian pirates. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
He was certain.
I love the hot
Because it's not so unfathomable. Like that, people can rob you from
Good
Canada.
pun.
Like they can float across the lake and get you up out your chain. They can do anything. So
They really can.
I don't think I called them pirates. I just said they're thieves coming on ships from Canada.
And what do you think pirates
What do you
are?
think that is?
It was your wording that made it sound so
Yes,
crazy.
I was taking 4 words and making it into one, which is pirate. Well, he explained it pretty well, I thought.
I need to hear more about the Canadian pirates that you think exist.
Pirates steal boats. These people aren't stealing boats. They have boats. They come from Canada, and then they park little dinghies on the shoreline, and then they go up into all the little rich houses.
You mean like SEAL Team 6?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Coming over in the dead of night?
You laugh, but then people that broke into the Capitol had all the fixings to break into like a bank. They're sliding down.
Yes, and that was in broad daylight.
Okay.
Those people weren't waiting until 3 a.m. to gingerly tiptoe into the Capitol.
They also weren't robbing anything. They didn't want money. They were
trying to kill people.
Okay, these people wanted money.
Mm-hmm. He had it figured out.
I
Listen.
stand by everything I said.
Well, and to your point, there's never a downside to keeping your head on a swivel. Never a downside to keeping your eyes open. Situational awareness. And if for you that means, holy crap, periscope up, there might be some Canadian pirates.
By the way, I love the word dinghy. It's just
I know
such a
you do,
It's
sweetie.
such a fun word to say.
A dinghy.
A dinghy.
Mm-hmm.
Get on my dinghy.
Yeah.
Ride my dinghy to Puddin' Bay.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
How far can?
That's how we got over to Kelly's Island, by the way. I tested our hypothesis. We just took jet skis from Marblehead over to Kelly's
Did
Island.
you really?
Yeah, put the car on the ferry, and then we just took jet skis straight over.
Good for you.
Yeah, it was great.
Did Nora ride with you, or did she
Wasn't
have her
tired
own?
at all. What's that?
Did Nora ride with you, or does she have her own little mini jet ski?
No, she rode on my back.
Okay.
Yeah. And then got over there. You know what I did do one night, speaking of movies very quickly, is I finally watched The Flash.
Oh, yeah, what'd you think of that?
Aw. Boy, they really shoehorned a lot into that movie.
That's what
And
movies are.
apparently Tim Burton is not pleased with this Flash movie because they took a lot of his IP and squeezed it into cameos in the movie. You know, the point of the Flash, for people who haven't seen, is that he's trying to go back in time. He goes so fast that he changes time, and he's trying to bring his mom back to life or make sure she never dies, blah, blah, blah. And so the denouement of this film is that he's seeing all of the alternate universes, and so they have all this old footage of all of the other people who have played these superheroes in movies past. So they have Christopher Reeve as Superman. They have Nicolas Cage, like AI'd up, right? When Tim Burton, who had done Batman with Michael Keaton, was going to do Superman Lives or whatever that was called, whatever it's called. And they had, you can see the pictures online, they had screen tested Nicolas Cage. He had long hair, he had a skin-tight suit. They put that in The Flash. And then they have a cameo at the end. He's in an alternate universe, and who else played Batman? And so they have a bunch of cameos. But Tim Burton, who's responsible for Batman and the Nicolas Cage Superman, is displeased by all that. He's not happy at all. But the movie, I was like, because we were clicking around, the little one was fried because we've been just running around doing stuff all day long. And so Gwen and I are just kind of, the little one's asleep, and we're kind of crashing. I'm clicking around. And The Flash is just starting. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to watch The Flash. And ironically, it felt really long, really long. And you saw it in the theater.
Yeah, I
yeah?
saw it in the theater. I had fun watching it. I had some laughs. It didn't take itself all that seriously.
Well, how could it?
I mean, it shouldn't.
Yeah.
I thought the opening scene with the baby in the microwave was great. I thought that was.
Oh, that was terrible. It was
Boy.
terrible. Gwen and I are both like, what is going on here? This is so...
He was saving the baby.
Oh, come on.
All the babies were falling out of the
Yeah,
building.
Yeah.
And one of them ended up in the microwave.
I know.
What's
yeah.
What, you want the babies to die?
No, he put him in the microwave. He didn't
To
end up in the
save
microwave.
it.
Yeah, whatever.
Wasn't plugged in.
So Tim Burton they're trying to ride this strike out or because all these people have finished projects that they can't do anything with. Like, they're like 2 weeks away from finishing Beetlejuice 2.
Whoa.
So with Michael Keaton.
Seriously?
Yes. Who did you think was going to play Beetlejuice?
I don't know. I didn't know if they were bringing him back.
That guy that Lauren Boebert was jerking that guy to?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Michael Keaton.
I haven't even heard of this.
It was a pretty big deal when they announced that Beetlejuice 2 was finally going to go ahead. I think Winona Ryder's character is all grown up, right? So it's like the next generation, like Jenna Ortega, I think, is in it. And
Yeah, she's Lydia's
of course, she's
daughter.
heir to the taco shell fortune. Have you seen You'll See That in a Small Town? Have you seen the Jason Aldean parody video?
No.
A guy named Ginger Billy did. Jason Aldean was just at Blossom over the weekend. Big, sold-out show. I don't have to tell you.
Did he burn any American flags like he likes to do?
Well, I wasn't at the show. I didn't see that. But, of course, he was very outspoken about the backlash to that song, right? Now, there's no backlash with his crowd. So, you're talking to your crowd. I mean, they're going to cheer for him and all that stuff, and that's the way it's supposed to be at one of your shows. But, yeah, it was sold out there at Blossom. Everybody having a good time. I think that song of his, as these things always do, is largely blown over. But a guy named Ginger Billy wanted to take a more realistic tone with the song, and he called it You'll See That in a Small Town.
Meth head tweaking, walking down the sidewalk, cussing at a car sitting at the red light. Steals two mad dogs out of a liquor store. Now he's drunk as a skunk and looking for a fight. Car's full up, spray him with mace, tase him in his balls and beat him up. Yeah, now he's in cuffs. You'll see that in a small town. Meth heads ride stolen lawnmowers down.
So he's not a really good songwriter.
No, he's not.
Yeah, I know that.
He's really just squeezing a lot of lyrics into the. But I like the guy got his balls tased.
Yeah.
That seems like an overreaction. The guy's just trying to get a little drinky drink out of the liquor store and putting him down his sweatpants, tased his balls, and then rides off on a stolen lawnmower.
Good for him. There's a comic. I think he's one of the well-read guys. Which is
Trey Crowder.
Is it no? That does the bit about this song?
Yeah.
Oh, did you guys already talk about it?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, we did?
You played it.
He talks about like how none of the things that Jason Aldean says in that song ever
Oh, yeah,
happen
we
in
did
small
play that,
towns.
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he said, stop at a red light, and he goes, a red light.
Yeah. Have a red light.
And a McDonald's. Alan, what was Pee Wee Herman's full name? You heard me. Peter Weenus Herman. That was his full name. That's what the biopic was about. That's why when Paul Rubens died, it was such a big deal, because he directed that film. I believe.
No, Tim Burton did.
I'm sorry?
Tim Burton did.
I'm not familiar with him.
We just talked about him.
I don't know what you're talking
Batman
about.
and Superman.
I've got to take a break here. If you want to send a text, 35192, they're starting up Factory of Terror down in Canton. Talk about pooping your pants. They'll scare you. I'll have a couple of passes for you after the break.
It's the Alan Cox Show.
Everywhere on our free iHeartRadio app.
Or what